When considering how to register a company in Denmark, it is important to approach the process in a structured, methodical way that aligns with both local regulation and your broader business objectives. Denmark is consistently ranked as one of the easiest countries in which to do business, but that does not mean the steps are trivial. Understanding the core facts in advance will significantly reduce delays and rework. The first decision is your legal structure, as this will influence your capital requirements, risk exposure, reporting obligations, and even how potential investors perceive your business. The most common forms are the Private Limited Company, or APS, and the Public Limited Company, or AS. An APS is suitable for most small and medium-sized enterprises and requires a minimum share capital of 40,000 Danish kroner, while an AS is typically used for larger enterprises and requires at least 400,000 kroner in share capital. There are also options such as a sole proprietorship or a branch of a foreign company, but these carry different liability profiles and may limit fundraising options. Once you are clear on the structure, you should define your ownership model, governance approach, and overall capitalization strategy, because these elements will be embedded in your founding documents. The next step is to ensure you have a NEM ID, or Meet ID, and access to the Danish Business Authority's online platform, known as Virk. If you are a foreign founder without a Danish civil registration number, you may need to appoint a local representative or work with a service provider that can help navigate the digital identification and documentation requirements. At this stage, it is advisable to draft a concise but robust business plan, not because it is legally mandatory for registration, but because banks, potential investors, and in some cases, advisors, will expect you to articulate your business model, risk factors, and financial projections in a structured way. Turning to the formal registration, you will need to prepare the company's Articles of Association and a Memorandum of Association or Foundation document. These define the company's purpose, share capital, ownership structure, board composition, and decision-making rules. The content must comply with the Danish Companies Act, and while standard templates are available, it is prudent to seek legal or professional advice if you expect investor involvement, option programs, or more complex governance arrangements. Before filing, you must arrange the share capital, which may be contributed in cash or, under certain conditions, in kind. For cash contributions, funds are typically deposited into a temporary bank account that will be converted into the company's business account after registration is approved. Danish banks perform strict Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering checks, so you should anticipate providing identification documents, information on ownership structure, and details about your expected transaction volumes and counterparties. Once your documents are prepared and capital is in place, you register the company with the Danish Business Authority via Virk. You will complete an online form with key data points such as the company name, address, purpose, management, and share capital details. Assuming your documentation is in order, registration is usually processed quickly, often within a few business days. When the company is registered, it receives a central business registration number, known as a CVR number, which functions as your corporate identification for all interactions with authorities, suppliers, and customers. With the CVR number established, you need to ensure tax and VAT compliance. Most companies that sell goods or services above a certain annual threshold must register for VAT with the Danish tax agency, also via the online self-service system. You will also need to register as an employer if you intend to hire staff, which triggers obligations related to income tax withholding, social contributions, and mandatory labor market schemes. It is essential to set up a basic compliance calendar covering VAT returns, corporate tax filings, annual reporting deadlines, and any sector-specific obligations that may apply to your business. Parallel to the formal registration, there are several practical steps that are critical to your day-to-day operations. Opening a permanent business bank account in Denmark is a priority. This requires your CVR number and, in most cases, proof of registration and identification for all ultimate beneficial owners. You should also decide on your accounting setup. including whether to engage an external accountant, which accounting software to implement, and how to structure internal controls for invoicing, payroll, and expense management. For many companies, especially those with international founders or complex structures, partnering with a local accounting or corporate services firm can significantly reduce administrative burden and ensure your practices remain aligned with Danish standards. From a risk and governance perspective, you should formalize your board and management roles early, even if your company is relatively small. Denmark has clear rules regarding management liability and duties of care, and clarity on who is responsible for what helps avoid disputes and compliance gaps later. You may also need sector-specific licenses or notifications. For example, if you operate in regulated industries such as financial services, healthcare, food, or transportation, the Danish Business Authority, relevant supervisory agencies, or industry associations can guide you on these requirements. For foreign founders, a final dimension to consider is alignment between company registration and immigration or residence permits. While registering a company is a corporate law process, working and residing in Denmark as a non-EU national typically requires the appropriate visa or work permit, potentially under entrepreneur or startup schemes. Failing to integrate these tracks can lead to situations where the company is legally established, but key founders cannot legally work in the country. To summarize the core guidance, be deliberate in your choice of legal form, prepare your foundational documents, and share capital correctly. Leverage the digital registration via the Danish Business Authority, and put early focus on tax registration, banking, and accounting. Denmark's system is designed for efficiency, provided you have your documentation and structure in order from the outset. By treating registration not just as a legal formality, but as an opportunity to architect your governance, compliance, and operational foundations, you will set your company up for a smoother launch and a more credible position with authorities, partners, and investors in the Danish market.